Welcome back to Norwalk, Ohio's beautiful Norwalk Raceway Park in the Mopar Parks World Nationals presented by Ethanol Performs. So much to do here in Norwalk for fans of all ages. And so much going on in those Pro Mod pits as they gear up for the semifinals. And two more beautiful battles between the nitrous cars and the blower cars. Which side of the fence do you sit on? Mike Janis, Carl Moyer, and Fred Hahn. This guy, Ricky Smith.
He's the fastest car out there right now, so we're just going to have to try to step this thing up and see if it'll hold it. You know, the track's real good, so we're going to step it up and go for it and hope we don't shake. We got a chance of beating him. If he just fumbles a little bit, we can beat him.
But first, we promised you a look at the Wild Ponies, the Screaming Eagle Nitro Harley-Davidsons. Here they are. Price has got Jack Romine. Mike Romine has Mattioli, Steve Storter, Bill Furr, Doug Vansel, and Jay the Bulldog Turner. Here's a look at some of that round one action from earlier today. Ray Price near lane. Far lane, Jack Romine.
Romine had him from the tree. Adam covered about half track. Ray Price out of the group, able to bring it back and take home the win.
He had the big win at the last stop, winning the Stanton title. In other round one action, it was Steve Storter, the man who lost to Ray Price in the Michigan final, taking out Bill Furr. Storter part of Team Mancuso, and these bike teams are somewhat smaller than the Pro Mods and Top Fuelers, but Steve Storter very happy nonetheless. Coming into today's event, Doug Vansel led the pack with 6:59. For more on him and his team, let's check in with Lisa Chalenza.
Thanks, James. Unlike Top Fuel, where teams generally consist of more than 6 members, in the Nitro Harley division, teams are much smaller and often revolve around the family. Doug Vansel and wife Julie are an example of that.
I don't know that we're really unique, but we try to keep with less people, less mistakes. We all have our own jobs, and we all try to do our jobs well.
I've learned a lot from Doug. He's taught me a lot about, you know, working on the bike and helping to run the bike and stuff, and it's definitely not your normal everyday life.
You know, we're into racing pretty heavy. Like, we'll be eating something, eating dinner and talking, and I'll go, hey, you know, if we put more clutch in it here or something like that.
A lot of what brought us together was drag racing. I mean, that's what he was doing then, and I loved it, and we just got together, and that's what most of our life is involved, is drag racing.
It is probably more difficult than, say, you work with your wife, and then you go home with, because we have highs and lows and heat. And
that's pretty much what our life is about. We have other little things that we do, like, you know, we like to ride street bikes and stuff once in a while. So, I mean, sure, there's a little bit of regular home life or, you know, this and that, but it's mostly racing.
Yeah, like when I smoked the tire 3 times, and I was told by the boss not to get back in it. Down at the at the end of the track, she told me, if it's broke, you're fixing it yourself.
We love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
It's a tough job. It's fun. It's worth it.
So happy together, Doug and Julie, learning the ways of love as they learn the ways of the bikes. Here we go, Turner versus Vansel. This is round one action. And Vansel finally puts that front wheel down. They'll be talking about this win over a nice candlelit dinner, won't they?
Right now, we made it through first round, and it was a tough one, and we'll see what happens from there.
After round one, moving into the semifinals, we'll have Price versus Mattioli. Steve Storter will take on the overall points leader, Doug Vansel. Let's get right to those semifinals. There's Tony Mattioli. Beginning of the season, he had to step up and fill in for Jim McClure, and he's done one heck of a job ever since then. Tony faces, for the first time all season long, the veteran, 64-year-old Ray Price, owner of Ray Price Harley-Davidson, back in Raleigh.
Ray Price looking to make it 2 national event finals in a row.
And Ray looks good off the tree. Wow, it's the 64-year-old ever hot here in Norwalk.
Ray Price left Tony Mattioli sitting still on the starting line. Price, a great 438 light, and look at him hug the center line. I'll tell you, the last 2 weeks his bike has been all over either lane, but nonetheless, he's gotten down the racetrack to turn on that wind light.
Ray, a 430 light's a pretty good light on this bike. You had over a 10th on the starting line. Seemed to got a little confidence out there.
Yeah, it's starting to work good. We all of our systems that we have on there are starting to come together for us. We're really proud of it, and the team, you know, and Rex and Nick and David, and a lot of help from Dave Moore and JC Sparks this weekend. It's really been nice, and just working hard to try to keep this baby going.
Ray won the Michigan finals. Who will meet him in the finals in Norwalk? Overall points leader Doug Vansel, perhaps? Or maybe we'll just have a rematch of that Michigan final and Steve Storter will get there. Steve Storter lost to Ray Price in the finals at Michigan. He would love to get revenge here today at the IHRA's biggest stop. And there's a look at Albuquerque, New Mexico's Doug Vansel leading the point show as of now.
Number 2 and 3 qualifiers, both of these bikes ran 654s in round number 1. We've got a heck of a matchup here, James.
Vansel's lit. Storter's lit. And Steve Storter, we're going to get to see him go head-to-head again. Steve Storter easily advances as Doug Vansel broke there back at the starting line.
And right off the starting line, as soon as Doug Vansel hits the throttle, watch the bike pull the front wheel and back down. Smokes the tire. His day is done. Steve Storter marches on through a 656 at over 202 miles an hour.
Do not adjust your television sets. It's right. Same as last week, Steve Storter and Ray Price. Storter has a lane choice today.
Well, it looks like you got a rematch here of Michigan final.
Yeah, I know. I owe him for this one. I hope I get him this time.
You gunning for him?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Are you going to make any changes in the bike setup going to the final?
That's up to the boss. I'm just the rider.
Good luck in the finals.
Thanks.
Having a good time with us today. Want to find out more about the IHRA? Check out IHRA.com for all the latest stats, info, and schedules. And you want to see one high-flying big rig? Come to an IHRA event and check out Bob Motes and his Jet Kenworth. Eastbound and down over 200 miles an hour at the Mopar Parks World Nationals presented by Ethanol Performs. James Bates, Bruno Massel, Lisa Chalenza welcoming you back to Norwalk, Ohio. Never did get a taste of that ice cream Lisa had for us earlier. They're in line waiting a while. Hold everything. Hey, Lisa, 2 stops? Where's our light? Come on now, you got to take care of your boys up here in the booth. Well, the Norwalk Raceway Park is definitely taking care of these IHRA Summit Drag Racing fans. One beautiful venue, and everybody's having a great time today. Oh, you talk about a great time. Top Fuel action is always the best. And we've got some great pairings going into the semifinals. Clay Milliken takes on Jim Bailey. Paul Romine and Jim Head go back at it. For more on that, here's Lisa Chalenza.
Thanks, James. The upcoming semifinal showdown between Jim Head and Paul Romine will be their 5th battle this season. The matchup has turned into a Top Fuel dogfight that has both competitors pushing each other to the limit and waging an ever-escalating war of words.
Ed and I go back years and years and years. Paul's a good racer, and that's a well-funded team, and we always, we got your hands full when you race Paul Romine, that's for sure.
The first battle took place in the Richmond final, where Romine claimed victory. Round 1 in Cordova, and Romine strikes again.
All I could do was just kind of hold my foot down and say, man, I hope that he's a little later than that.
At the Leicester final, Head goes up in smoke. Romine makes it 3 in a row.
Yeah!
After a staging battle, Head wins in Stanton.
I didn't think I could beat Paul Romine. Good run, Paul. I know how it's gonna be now. What's the matter? Oh, well. Oh, well, there's normal protocol, and it seems like the older people get, the less they remember that protocol. That's all right, there'll be another day. You know, he's kind of a pain in the ass to run, unfortunately, but hopefully he's over it. I don't know. He doesn't want, he's a sore loser, and I could go on, but I won't.
Well, one thing's for sure, on and on this battle between these two big dogs goes. There's Jim Head in the near lane. He got the better of Paul Romine at our last stop in Stanton, Michigan. Jim Head out of Columbus, Ohio, independently owned. Dragster will have to come strong. And there's Paul Romine. Paul Romine really had the best of this matchup early in the year, winning the Richmond final. He's beaten Head 3 times this season. But it ain't where you're from, it's where you at. Right now, Head's on top, but we're about to find out who this week's champion is. Head stage. Romine. And Romine at the tree. Romine down the quarter mile. No! Coming on late is Jim Head. Paul Romine probably thought he had it in the bag. Watch this, Bruno.
And Paul Romine did have in the bag a huge reaction time advantage. Romine led almost all the way down the racetrack. All of a sudden, boom, there goes the floor bell. Here comes Jim Head. Jim Head, nice clean run straight down the middle of the track. Paul Romine, there goes the belt. Head going to the final.
Jim, you're going your second straight final, 480 at 311.
Yeah, like we always say, we'd rather be lucky than good. Paul had me covered, and obviously lost the blower belt, and we went around him in the end, but we'll take it.
Well, that crowd was into this one. These people are having a great time here today in Norwalk, and well, there's a guy who's not having a great time.
Paul Romine frustrated all the time in preparation, getting one of these cars on the racetrack, had the race in the bag, and a $20 part cost him the race.
Well, Paul Romine, as upset as can be, was last week's fan favorite. I think the fans might want to stay away from Mr. Romine for a couple minutes at least. Voting for the fan favorites again today here in Norwalk. The fans get a chance to vote for their favorite drivers in all categories. And not only do the drivers win, but these fans win cool things like backstage trips here at the IHRA. All kinds of great gear. Guess who won it today? Funny car driver Mark the Farmer Thomas. He's got his own grandstand here. Why not? Driving that big green ethanol machine. And there's a look at this sweet fan favorite. Just as excited as Paul Romine was last night. Now he's kind of gunned up too.
Both these cars barely made the semifinal call. Bailey reported some clutch problems. Oh, look right there. Can't get the car in reverse. He's got to coast on down the racetrack. Really disappointing moment for Jim Bailey.
And just making it even easier for Clay Milliken to advance one more round. Remember, he's won 3 in a row. Comes here today to Norwalk, trying for 4 in a row. The 4-peater, as they told us earlier in the show. And you know what? It doesn't get any easier than this. That Warner crew will get a good look at this track with not much pressure. Clay Milliken was to take on Jim Bailey in these semifinals, but it's an easy trip to the finals for that blue Warner dragster. And it looks like Milliken's trying to get lane choice in the final. And he gets it, 473 with the 4, so Clay Milliken keeps on, keeping on. Jim Head, Clay Milliken, Top Fuel final. Will he get 4 in a row?
Well, Clay, a 473, but I think it's easy to say that you clicked it off early.
Well, I didn't do nothing special. It clicked itself off early. You might look back here and notice we lost a rubber band, but you know what? Rain, sleet, snow, Werner Enterprises delivers, baby. Here we are, 4th final in a row. We are so into this. I can't believe it. Points are shaping up. Still too early. I'm not counting them yet, but yeah, I am kind of looking at them a little bit. Man, I can't believe this is the 4th final in a row. This Werner Enterprises car just keeps on rolling. It's great.
Well, we'll roll with those Top Fuel finals later, but when we come back, we're going to check in on this Nitro Harley final. Very interesting twist here. Due to safety concerns in Michigan, the Northern Nationals finals in the bikes was run yesterday here in Norwalk. Guess who it was? Ray Price, Steve Storter.
Hopefully I can get even with him this time. We got pretty close the last time. He just barely come around me, so we need to step it up just a little bit. And he's a good guy, and you know, he's a good friend. I like him and everything. But you know, when we get to the starting line, boy, we're enemies at that moment. But down in the finish line, then we're friends again.